update. It's going to be a short update, but also going to have a secondary part to it, which is me actually doing experimental silver soldering on the top plates, the rubbing plates that I was talking about. I've got one kind of set up ready for silver soldering in there, but I thought I'd do a bit of an update first. I've got a new camera that I got for my birthday, thanks to my partner and my two stepkids. So video's sound quality might change a little bit as we're going on, and the reason for that is it's got a microphone built in, but it's also got a microphone on top, a pistol mic. The pistol mic only really picks up what's directly in front of the camera, so I'm not using the pistol mic, I'm using its own built-in microphone. So I'm hoping you can hear everything okay as I'm doing this and as I'm talking. One thing I will show you before we go into getting into stuff, I've received the axle box castings for the tender from Hawley Miniatures. So obviously the front round part there, the Timken cover goes on that. You'll notice it's got this cone shape to it at the minute. That will be milled down to make it, you know, basically flat on the two sides. It's cone shaped like that so it can come out the sand okay without losing any definition or anything. So they are direct casting straight from Hawley, Hawley, however it is, I can never remember. So they are, there is a top and a bottom. I don't know if you can see that, if I come a bit closer. You can see there's a top and a bottom. Because I didn't realise at first when I looked at these and I thought, well, that's a bit strange. So I looked into pictures of full size axle boxes and saw that there is a top and a bottom to that casting. So I must remember that when I'm actually mounting the Timken covers. So that will be drilled and bored out in the back to suit the bearings that I'm going to use onto the axles. Needle bearing, but it's got a pressing that goes onto the axle ends that's hardened, and then the main bearing will be inside there. When the two slot together, there'll be movement in it, a lot like a proper Timken bearing that's used on full size. So yeah, so that's where we're up to at the minute. That's what I've received through the post, which is great. I'm waiting on some laser cut parts as well, from Edit Model Engineers Laser again. I can't remember what I've actually ordered, to be honest. Oh, I do. Now, it's for this part that's going under here. This is obviously the drag box again. It's for this part that's going to be silver soldered in here. So you can see where I've not cleaned up the TIG welding on that. You can see that. I've not cleaned up the TIG welding on the bottom side yet. But where these red markings are, that was where I told him not to TIG anything up. And that's because there's a part that slots in there. And what it does is it's got two mounting brackets either side for the water valves, and then there is a centerpiece that's for the return spring for the brake gear. So it's kind of a crucial part, so that's why I haven't really done anything with that yet, apart from a little bit of cleaning up on the top. I'm going to get all these welds taken off the bottom of there, silver solder that plate in with the two support brackets there, do the two drag bushes that I've just loosely pressed them in at the minute, and I'll do it all in one go. So that'll be a video with all of its own, to be honest, with that drag box and all the parts that are on it. I have got a commercial, I don't know if it's here, it's here. I have got a commercially bought water valve that I used for distance measuring. Now what I'm going to do with this is it won't be cone fittings, nut and cone fittings, tender side of the, and it won't be on the other side of it, because what it's on full size, it's a flange fitting. So what I'm going to have to do is make a flange fitting for this, but that support that's on the front of the drag box has got 2 holes either side with 4 bolt holes, and it bolts the water valve in and keeps it nice and rigid, because obviously the valve handle goes up to the top, up to the foot plating on the tender. So again, something that I'll explain more when the time comes, when we get to that bit, because there's a complicated linkage and everything that goes in. So right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go off into the other workshop. I'm going to set the tripod up so it's filming what I'm doing, and hopefully, as I say, it's a bit of an experimental thing, so you're going to see me either work it and get it right first time, or balls it up and then cut it off and start again. But I don't think I'm going to cock it up, to be fair. Well, I hope not. So anyway, let's go in there and have a look. Okay, so you can see the raw part here, and what I'm going to do is, if I just lift this off before I flux it all up, this is the little part that we're going to solder onto the end. You can see it pinch between my fingers, very small part. That's going into that corner there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to flux all this up. I'm going to do a corner first, then a corner. There's a top and a bottom. That's why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm hoping that I can get the solder to run underneath that, down the back, and to the bottom one, and do it all in one go without. I could dab the face, to be fair. I could just do it and just dab the solder from here on the face, and it will get both in one go. And hoping that I don't cock it up on the way. If I do, I do, and I just have to start again. So fingers crossed this all works, and I don't shove it about like I just shoved that then. I give it a right shove and it's moved it on there. Fingers crossed the touch of the solder won't move that, and we'll be alright. If it does move it, not to worry, I'll just have to put a bit of weight on the top just to stop it moving. So right, I'll flux all this up and we'll do the next bit. Right, okay, got a medium sized torch, got a bit of a long flame on it. I'm going to heat up over the back first, because the flux is going to bubble. So when the heat comes to it, plus as well that plate's 4mm thick, and those little add-ons are only 1mm thick. You can see it starting to bubble there. I don't want it to move too much. I have got, oh, like that, and it buggers off. Now I've got pliers. I can just hopefully pick that up and drop it back on again. The problem with the precariously balancing something that's got essentially water in your flux, you need a bit of weight just to hold it, that water to evaporate. And just pulling it all back into shape so it's in the right spot. It just goes to show not, it don't go perfectly every time when you're filming it like this. And of course flame a bit closer. It's in the right spot now. The flux has gone off. So now we just need to get some heat in it. I want it all to be glowing, not just that little piece that's on the top. See, it's tried to move again. Not easy to do one-handed when it's hot. Obviously you can't touch it with your hand because it's red hot. heat difference with the torch hitting it. Obviously you see it glow quick. I'm only giving it a light touch with this wire. It's only 0.75 wire, but it's enough to get around it. It doesn't matter if I've gone a bit excessive with the silver solder, to be fair, because what I can do is I can go over with a file afterwards, but that has run all the way around it. So we turn that off. It's run all around it. It's got the top and the bottom one together. All seems to be okay, so that's, where's my camera? There we are, there's thumbs up for that. So that's one. So what I'm going to do now is just dip that in some citric acid, clean it off. We'll do the other corner quickly, and then we'll show a finished product, as it were, or a finished article for you at home. Okay, so number one's done. It's been dipped in acid. Number two's on the go now. What I'm going to do is learn from a mistake of the last one. I'm going to put some weight on that while it's heating up. Turn the flame down a little bit too much there. Turn that right up. Well, folks, going to go wrong. It's going to go wrong tonight, isn't it? Right, put a bit of weight on that one. Like that. Move that so I can steady my hand. One thing I forgot about, which I can hope you can hear me talking about this, is when you're silver soldering, fire bricks, which this is resting on, get very hot when you're silver soldering. So what you've got to remember is when you're then going to balance up your second part that you're going to make and you footed it all up, the heat transfer is pretty rapid. You've got to be very careful not to burn your hands. As I did, I burnt my chuffing hand. If by chance something goes out of alignment slightly and it's still red hot, you can just pull it back into place like that has. Push that bottom one back into place. Once you've got it where it needs to be, take the heat away and let the silver solder cool. Once that's done, so we've got two of them now. I'm just going to dip this one and then we'll show you the finished article. Okay, so we're back in the workshop again, in the other part of the workshop, shall I say. So you've seen the from start to finish of me silver soldering something up, and well, bit of a cock up along the way, but it just goes to show that everyone's human. We don't just show off shiny finished parts. So talking of shiny finished parts, I've not fully finished it, but that I've just tickled it up with a file quickly. Get it in nice and close for you. If it's going to zoom in or not, or if it's going to focus on it. It's probably picking up greater good. So what I wanted to do, the object of the exercise is these two ends where my fingers are here, these two ends, I wanted those to be a thicker, both sides. Now, it wasn't until after I did the last video about this part that it was brought to my attention that you can actually buy that as a casting already. But because it's submitted on the Dick Stockings drawings for the standard 2 or the BR3 tender, I didn't know excuse me, I didn't know that you could get it. So because I didn't know you could get it, obviously I didn't order any, so I've gone down the route of fabricating it. I'll be honest, on first glance or first look at this, it's got the exact look that I was going for. It's got I've got a bit of a taper, a bit of a rounded end on the ends here, a bit of a round on there and a bit round on there, as if it had been lifted out of a sand mould, which full-size ones obviously would have been cast. There's still a bit of tickling up with a file to do on it, but you know, at first just run through with it, that's come out just as I want it to. Obviously I've got to do that flat for the grease, the fake grease nipple to go on there, but at first look, you know, to me it's bang on. I've just obviously got to do a bit of draw filing on the face, but what I'm going to do, I'll probably draw file the top or that front face. I don't want it too perfect because at the end of the day, on a full-size engine it would have been cast, so that face, you don't want to be perfect polished. It is going to be painted at the end of the day, but I just want to take out the little bit of laser cut. What's the word? You can see where the lines of the laser have cut it, so I want to take those lines out of it, and then obviously get that grease nipple in there, and then that's one finished, then ready for the axle box underneath. So to give you a rough idea, axle box, top plate like so, and then obviously spring. So that is going to sit, and if we look at it just quickly, and that's on a raw casting, nothing done, you can see the tabs just sit down either side there, and that's what I want to go for. That's what it looks like on full size. Then Timken cover on there, perfect. That's the look we're going for. So if I can get it, cock it up almost on the first attempt, the rest are going to be a walk in the park, or so they say. So there we are. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not sure how long that bit of footage is at, but we've done a little bit, and a little bit is steps towards getting everything done, isn't it? So thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe and tell your friends and all that, like your aunties, your uncles and all them. And yeah, see you on the next one. Ta-da.